Hey everybody, we're making pork chops tonight, barbecue pork chops. I'm going to give you a little rundown on how to run a barbecue. Give you some other good ideas for accompaniments to go along with it, so you can cook outside on those hot summer days and not make your kitchen too hot. Or things you can take camping with you, or things you can take four-wheeling for you and pop into the fire pit and just cook in tin foil. Anyhow, so a few good ideas tonight. But I basically just took these beautiful pork chops from Stellarton, Nova Scotia. You can get these at Sobeys. It's a really nice pork supplier. Local. It's always nice to buy local and support our farmers. Anyhow, I just patted it dry with a paper towel and removed any, sometimes you get a bit of bone meal from when they put them through the bandsaw when they're loining it out. So I just patted it dry with a paper towel and I've added some salt and pepper. And I'm going to just transfer it into my bowl. That way I don't have to dirty a cutting board. This is nice and clean. I don't have to trim anything off of it. So it's ready to go. So I can just put it right in a bowl and then that reduces my risk of contamination. I'm going to add a little bit of Montreal steak spice. We use this quite a bit around my house for barbecuing and such, and so do other restaurants and things. But you can also make your own spice blend. I used to make my own bird spice for a lot of years at Nicholas North and things. You can see there's a few different kinds of spices in there. Looks like what do we got here? Dehydrated onion, garlic, looks like coriander, mustard seed. Yeah, all sorts of fun flavors in there. So you can look up your own spice blends and make your own. For some things are better suited for poultry, some things are better suited for steaks, and some for pork. Anyhow, I'm going to toss these around. I'm going to use a little bit of barbecue sauce. And when you're barbecuing, you can sometimes add your barbecue sauce after. I like to add mine beforehand because I get my grill nice and hot. And then it sears the barbecue sauce into the meat. Anyhow, I'll see you in a minute. Alright, so I preheated my barbecue. And while I was preheating it, I put our veggies in there. So like I was saying earlier, nice thing about barbecuing in the summertime is it keeps your kitchen nice and cool, so you don't have to use the stove and things. So I did some tinfoil wrapped sweet potatoes and tinfoil wrapped regular potatoes. So they just got butter in them, salt and pepper, and wrapped them up. So like I was saying, if you're going four-wheeling or anything like that and you want to have a fire or you're going camping, you can pre-pack these up in your kitchen at home and take them in your backpack and throw them in the fire. I wrap them 2 or 3 times, double or triple wrap them. That way the fire doesn't burn through all the tin foil and burn your food before it's cooked. You can even wrap little chickens up and put them in the fire too. Or instead of barbecuing your pork chops, you can wrap them with in tin foil with cream of mushroom soup, and or just spices and herbs and butter, and bake them in the fire. So nice thing about barbecuing, keeps the kitchen cool, and nothing feels like summer like a barbecue. So this barbecue's been preheated. Mine's getting a little old. You're seeing some of the flames, like the burners have some hot spots breaking through. I use a wire brush to scrub my barbecue because I believe it does a better job of getting the stuff on it. You still have to be careful because people are using wood ones now and such, because these little metal things, when these get older, these little metal things apparently have been getting caught in people's throats and things, so you have to be careful. Anyways, I use cast iron grates, but whatever grates you got, use what you got. So I got this cranked so it's nice and hot, so it'll actually sear the meat. And what happens is the meat and the barbecue sauce caramelize, and what it does is it cooks itself off of the grill. You try to flip this right now, like that's going to be, usually it's going to be kind of stuck to it. But if you wait a while, it'll just cook itself off of it. So I'll try to make some grill marks here for you. You usually want to make nice perfect X's when you're in a restaurant, so I'll try to do it restaurant style, even though I'm at my home barbecue. So full blast heat right now was what I had. So now I'm going to turn it down and close the lid. This is how I do it. It works. Barbecuing shouldn't take forever. It doesn't take that long if you do it properly. So that's closed. I'm going to quarter turn those in a few minutes. I'll come back in a second. Alright, so let's check on these here. We've been searing for about 3 minutes at the super high heat. So now I'm going to pick them up, and as I turn them, I'm going to give them a fresh spot on the grill and quarter turn them. I didn't really get the greatest grill marks there, but this one's a little stuck. There we go. There's some nice grill marks. There we go. Let's try this one out. Oh yeah, there we go. That's another good one. And then see, I'm flipping them into a new space so I can create new grill marks on the other side. There we go. So we've got our first set of tracks, and then we'll flip it over and try to get an X on them when we flip them over the other side. I'm just going to add a little bit of barbecue sauce now to the tops of these. So now what happens is in different places when the barbecue is like a culture, they take hours and slow heat. They sear things off first. They'll add wood chips, mesquite chips, and different things to the bottom. Add a smoky flavor to the meats. They baste it over and over and over again in their family secret sauce. You know, like they take their barbecue pretty serious as a barbecue culture. So however far you want to take it. I just like to make my family food taste really good. But in restaurants, there's kind of a bit of pride that goes behind perfectly grilled meats. Yeah, and usually when you're grilling meats, they're your more expensive cuts. So there's a less margin of error. They're not as fatty, so you're trying to cook them to a proper doneness, so they're not overcooked and dry. Pork chops, as we know, what was the internal temperature we have to cook pork chops to? Maybe I'll make you guys look that up, or maybe I'll just tell it to you. I think it's 180 Fahrenheit, or 170 Fahrenheit. Actually, sorry, 165 Fahrenheit with the new laws. So, anyways, it's important not to overcook them because they get pretty darn dry. So I'm going to close this up and let that barbecue sauce baste on them for a little bit, and then give them another flip. All right, so let's have another about 3 minutes on the grill like that on that side. Now on this side, I'm going to give them another flip over into kind of a fresh grill spot again. Got some good marks that time. Alright, a little more barbecue sauce on top, close her down. I think that's going to be it. I'll serve the other side face up. Some nice grill marks. These little packets, so I'll open those up and see how they're done. The sweet potatoes and thyme, and regular potatoes and butter and salt and pepper. You can also put thyme in there. Those little packets you can make with carrots. You can do mushrooms and onions. You can do potatoes and onions. You can add different sprigs of herbs in there, fresh thyme. You can use oregano. Rosemary with potatoes is always really nice. So those little packets are kind of fun to make up, especially when you're camping. I usually do a whole whack of them up before I head out. When we go camping, or we've done some portage camping with the canoes, so it's nice and easy when you first get to your site to just get a fire going and some coals and drop a couple little aluminum foil packets in the fire and your dinner's ready in about 30 minutes or so. Alright, anyways, those pork chops are looking pretty good. We'll open up these packets in a minute and have a look. So all together, I guess we got 3 minutes on the first side, 3 minutes on the second side, 3 minutes on this side. So about 9 minutes is all it's going to take to cook these pork chops off. Basically full blast on the heat. Got some good caramelizing there, so that's what the full heat does. That if you're cooking at too low a heat, you don't get that nice caramelizing and that richness from the sugars being created off the grill. All right, see you in a minute with the dish. All right, so our pork chops just came off the barbecue. So first things, forgot to mention one before I put them on the barbecue. Meat usually cooks better when it's at room temperature before it goes on the grill. So it's always nice, even in restaurants. That's when you get an appetizer order. If somebody has a meat order when the bill comes in, when they have their entree there, if they've got a steak, a lot of the times in a good restaurant, they'll take that steak out of the fridge when their appetizer order comes in, so that way it starts coming up in temperature, so it's not being cooked from stone cold. Anyways, this meat is still steaming right off the barbecue, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it sit and rest, and what that does is it allows the juices that were being pushed all into the center of the meat from the heat. All that juice was getting squished into the center of the meat, and now if I let it rest, all that juice comes back out into the meat, and if I wait, it's going to be more tender, more juicy finished product. See, there's not even any juice really on the plate forming at all, But if I was to cut into one of these, this plate would just fill up with a puddle of juice that now run out of all the meat. So the most important thing to do is wait about 5 minutes for the meat to carry over cooking a little bit. About 5 degrees is with the size of a pork chop, and carry over about 5 degrees Fahrenheit probably, 2.5 maybe, or 2 degrees in Celsius. Just allow it to rest. That's what they mean by letting the meat rest. And we'll compose our plate here. All right, here we go with the big reveal here. Here's our regular potatoes. Oh, those smell so good. Nice and crispy and baked in there. Just right. It took about, I'd say, 40 minutes in the barbecue while I was preheating and I cooked the pork chops. And then here's some sweet potato and thyme. It smells so good. Anyways, we're gonna put those up, pop those on the plate. And I also cooked some carrots. So the carrots now, I would have normally done in the tin foil, but I just ran out of time. So I just did them in a little bit of water. And I'm just gonna strain them out of the water and add some butter and salt and pepper and a little bit of dried dill. I love dill with carrots. You don't have to do the dill. You can just do salt and pepper. You can do olive oil if you don't want to use butter. You can do honey glaze. You can add like honey and butter together in a nice warm pan and swirl it around and glaze the carrots. But anyways, I think we're gonna have a nice little meal ahead of us here, and I got a little bit of a Greek salad. Nothing tops off barbecue like a nice little crisp Greek salad, or even Caesar salad, or potato salad, or a nice pasta salad, or you want to go quinoa, or even a bean salad. So this should be a nice little meal for us, and yeah, I'll show you the final plate in a sec. All right, so here's our finished plate. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Nice little Greek salad. Our sweet potatoes fanned out, a little bit of chili flakes with them when I baked them. Some nice carrots, dilled carrots, and roasted potatoes. So now you can garnish this with a bit of a sauce if you want. You could take a little bit of the dressing from the vinaigrette from the Greek salad. Let's try that. Just take a little bit of that sauce. The vinegar would be nice with the pork as well. You just kind of take that and spread it along in there a little bit if you want to add some more color to it. Maybe a little sprig of something, thyme or parsley, or you could do, this baked thyme. But I don't know. Sometimes the garnish is kind of a little bit too much. Like if it's not functional, you could make it like a little onion jam or apple chutney to go on top or something. Or you put a little fresh sprig of thyme, because I do have a little bit of thyme, or sorry, fresh sprig of mint, because I do have a little mint in my salad, so that would complement the flavors there. Remember, whenever you're choosing a garnish, you want to choose something that's going to complement the dish, or even perhaps really contrast it. So those are kind of the two options. So, all right, bon appetit, everybody. Hope you enjoying things, and look forward to cooking for you again. I think I'm going to do lobster next.